What an incredibly interesting album this is. Rudy, I know a lot of people have actually said that this is probably, some people say it is their best, some people say it is absolutely one of their best. I mean, it is an amazing, amazing album. It sounds quite different um, in a way from the previous one, Images and Words, but there's no sort of real big epic on here, which is one of the things we've come to expect with Dream Theater. Something I've obviously recognised with the little that I have delved into them. There are some very very big epic tracks on here, but it's also, I'd say, sort of looking through the song list here, you're 6 minutes, or no, so 6 o'clock, Caught in a Web. Oh, Caught in a Web, that's cool, isn't it? Innocence Faded, then Erotomania, Voices, The Silent Man, all together as one thing. The Mirror and Lie, for me, were absolutely phenomenal. And I suspect that's maybe what you got in your envelope, Rudy. You said you were going to make a little bet about my reaction to this album. For me, The Mirror and the Lie were absolutely top notch. But also, it may surprise you, I think Space Divest, the last track on there, was incredible as well. I mean, the whole album is absolutely stupendous, but that felt so not Dream Theater-ish that it stood out. Kevin Moore's sort of final opus, as it were, for this band. I really, 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 really enjoyed this. Dream Theater, of course, are purveyors of songs without hooks. There are hooks in there. That's not fair, but it's not like your sort of like 3-4 minutes sort of a rock song which is instantly recognisable with sing-along choruses and sort of pump your fists in the air, sort of anthemic moments and stuff like that. There are moments on here that are very, very memorable, but there are some other moments that I think, without a lot of repeated listening over and over and over again, I'm not going to remember. I'm not going to remember in 5 minutes what I can't now. Actually, going back over this, I cannot remember what was happening in Innocence Faded, for example. I really can't. And that's not a criticism of the music per se, or even a criticism of me and my listening, but it is that everything was so fluid all the time. The songs, the time signatures, the themes, the melodies, the bits and everything. It didn't repeat itself to try and sort of burn itself into your brain. And I find that you really do need a lot of repeated listening to sort of get into some of these tracks in the way that you're meant to, or in the way you're meant to, in a way that means that it is going to be memorized for you. I appreciated it very, very much indeed. I think the musicianship, the playing on here, is second to none. And I have to say that I probably agree with a statement that you've made to me, Rudy, in the past about sort of this music came out of nowhere, and people were not quite prepared for how this sounded. So while a lot of the world was listening to, I guess, a lot of Britpop, so the Blur and Oasis, that sort of stuff going on one side, and you had the grunge scene going on from Seattle in America. This was something completely different and took the world by surprise. Now, it didn't take me by surprise at the time, because I was aware of Dream Theater, but I didn't know any of their stuff. It was a name of a band that I saw, and I've never heard them. I'd never heard them at the time. But those who did obviously tuned into something very, very interesting and very different, because they're still very much going. But as I'm alluded to, this is music that you need to listen to again and again and again to get the most out of it, because on one sitting it's overwhelming. There is just too much to take in, and that is what I'll need to do. Not today, probably not tomorrow, maybe not this week, but I'm going to listen to this again on multiple times. And I don't know why. So Octavarium is an album I know quite well, and I've listened to it a lot. And I don't know whether when I first heard it, it instantly sort of struck me as this is absolutely brilliant, or whether it's something that I felt I needed to listen to multiple times to get into. I can't remember. It was a while ago, but this is absolutely certainly something I need to listen to multiple times to really get into it. I just want to take a moment to talk about James LeBray as well. So, a lot of people, Rudy included, has cited this album as being his finest moment, and I can see that. I can see that his vocals on here are head and shoulders above where they were on some of the later albums that I have heard and tracks I've heard, and indeed on the album that predated this, the one we listened to before, Images and Words, is still not my favourite singer. And even though he is doing an admirable job on here, it's just something about his voice which doesn't, for me, is kind of not quite there. It seems a little bit thin, I think, the voice, and just, I don't know. There's just something which is quite not quite right for me about the way James LeBray sings. But the first two, actually, 6 minutes and Caught in a Web, his voice on there was very, very, actually really, really good. He's had the sort of the slight sort of graveliness to his voice. I think that worked excellently. And Space Divest at the end there, I thought that was very, very good as well. Incredible musicians, the bunch of them. John Petrucci, John Mayung, Kevin Moore, and Mike Portnoy. What a band. Wow. So, Rudy, thank you very, very much indeed. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And there were moments on here that I loved a lot more than others. And as I say, I really do need to listen to this again to try and tease out some of the sort of the finer moments that I've probably missed already. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you all on the next video, whenever and whatever that is. And until then, this is Jim, over and out.